A very warm welcome to everyone here with us today. I was just giving everyone 5 minutes to maybe settle in uh, so that we can get started. But now that we have, I'd like to begin. So, hello and a warm welcome to everyone who has taken time out of their day to join us today. My humble request to everyone here in chat is if you have any questions, please type it down in the chat box, or we will have a quick Q&A session at the very end of the seminar/webinar, so that we can take all of your questions. All right. So, as you know, the country is enduring in the face of a global pandemic, one which seems determined to endure beyond just the first and second wave, unfortunately. Just when we thought that we had won the fight with the highly contagious COVID 19, it has mutated and enhanced its resilience. But in the face of this uncertainty, the human spirit has been tested to its limit and persevered. I'm sure we will come out of this year stronger than ever before. In this long drawn out battle, we believe it is our duty to identify the problems our country is facing and come up with concrete solutions. Today, we want to touch on the topic of education in our country and how we can look at redefining our goals for education as a whole. We have an esteemed panel with us today, one which consists of experts in the field of marketing and sales, who will share with us how we can play a role in alleviating the current crisis in the education sector. We will analyze the second wave effect on higher education, especially universities and colleges, and how our colleges can look at transforming the education sector and pushing India toward global excellence. My name is Arjun, and I'm your host for this afternoon. Viron is working closely with GOI, MSDE, and several other bodies like Nat Health, ACT, Swast Alliance to respond to the ongoing crisis and training allied healthcare professionals, which is in very high demand over the last 1 year. Viron is an Edtech company which collaborates with campuses, making them an Edtech campus in double quick time. And this collaboration not only automates and standardizes the end-to-end processes, but also helps the campuses in scalability, growing the number of enrollments and ultimately revenue. So, in the last year, when the pandemic began, very few companies managed to actually cope with the after effects of the pandemic or even while the pandemic was happening. The common theme of 2020 quickly became edtech and healthcare. And Viron grew almost 3 times in this short time frame. Right? And the number of students during this crisis exponentially increased. As with any edtech company, we focus on training the students in the healthcare industry. And last year, we saw many colleges and institutes remain closed throughout the year, with all their activities starting from admissions to training to placement, completely shifting offline and completely shifting online. My apologies. And those campuses who are not able to adapt to this change are struggling even today and are on the verge of shutting down. On the other hand, we have seen so many edtech companies spring and shine. Companies like Byju's, Vedantu, Topper, White Hat Junior, Akash Digital have shown the country the power of education in the right manner, and that manner being combined with technology. But why is it that campuses are struggling on the one hand, the brick and mortar campuses are struggling so much with their admissions and their placements, and also in terms of scalability? And on the other hand, edtech companies are using technology and growing exponentially. What are the problems that campuses are facing today? How can they grow like edtech companies have? And can they be converted into edtech companies in their given infrastructure? Right? So these are some of the questions that we will be tackling today. And our esteemed panel will be giving us a lot of insight into these particular topics and how we can enable and hope that existing brick and mortar universities and institutes are able to push away from the traditional way of the entire student journey from enrollment to the entire journey of the student while they're studying and also beyond that. So let's find out now, right? So before that, we have a quick poll for you that we'd like to share. Can we please have the poll up to share with the team, please? How difficult is it for campuses to become an EdTech campus, according to you? Okay, thank you so much for that. So you're saying moderate. That's a very interesting result. Is there any other poll that we'd like to share? All right, perfect. Great. So let us proceed then. Now, it's my pleasure to first introduce our panelists. The first being Raghav Bardwaj, who's a branding and communication specialist. He's a gold medalist in MBA from MICA, Hyderabad. He has over 10 years of experience and has previously worked with Carlton, Perfetti Van Mill, Oyo, and recently with Viroham. He has guided these companies in branding and actively worked on sales growth. Welcome, Raghav, and thank you for joining us. Raghav, I think you might be on mute.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Thanks, Arjun. Thanks a lot for inviting me today. And it was a wonderful introduction from you. I look forward to a great informative session today with the panel.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And for our second panelist, our second panelist today is Mr. Anand Shane. And he has worked with NIIT in the past and has over 20 years of experience in the education sector. Associated with Viron over the last 3 years, he has previously worked as an operations manager and looked after student operations. Currently, he is the center CEO of Viron Nagpur. Nagpur is a campus which collaborated with Virohan in 2018. And even during the lockdown, the center grew 3 times. Welcome, Anand, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I look forward to sharing my experiences and learning new things from our panel today. Thank you, Arjun.
You're most welcome. So with that, let's begin then. So we've seen many industries be affected by the pandemic, a lot of them in a negative way and a lot of them in a positive way. So how exactly do you believe that education has been impacted as a result of the pandemic? Raghav, I'd like to start with you.
Okay. So firstly, I believe to do a proper justice to your question, Arjun, I will have to segregate education institutes into two different categories, one being edtech institutes and other one being the brick and mortar one that you already have discussed, other traditional education institutes. And only then we can do the justice to what has happened to which category. So let's just talk about the edtech institutes. EdTech institutes have grown massively in last 2.5 years. But when you will see that growth, specifically after the pandemic had hit our has hit our country, like in last 1.5 years, you will see companies like Byju's, Upgrade, Unacademy, Whitehead Junior, Vero, they have massively grown, like multiple folds. So what is that reason? What is that one reason or two reason or maybe multiple reasons that is helping these organizations to grow, not only in terms of value, but also in terms of volume, the number of enrollments they have today, the number of students they are teaching. So I think there are two, so as far as I believe, there are two main reasons. One of that reason is the value these organizations or these brands are adding to one's professional career. Now that career can start as soon as the student pass out after class 12 or can start for the higher education after the student is like a graduate, or can also be in the professional degree courses, diploma courses. But the one commonality among all of them is the value they're adding. And the second most important point which also adds up to the first point, is the ease through which they are delivering this value. Today, if you want to learn some new skill set, just open your app, enroll with the Edtech partner, and you are enrolled. Like it's in a snap of fingers. Like in next 10 minutes, you can get yourself enrolled with any Edtech partner. Not talking about our traditional brick and mortar institutes. Again, on the contrary, the thing that is failing them is that they have failed to provide that value. Each of one and all of us who are there in the panel today or in the audience today, we have like studied with great institutes, not only in India but abroad. But one thing that we always look forward before joining an institute was the internship we used to get, the placement support we used to get post that. And like in last 2-3 years, with the uncertainty of jobs in not only in India but everywhere in the world, you see that that value has collapsed completely. So there is
Right.
nothing new. There is not at all anything that these brick and mortar institutes have in their kitty today to offer to a student. Leave that entire thing of delivering it with ease or not. Ease is anyway not there. Not at all. You need to attend institute by like going to that institute on a daily basis. If you don't go, you will miss out on classes. You will miss out on your quizzes. You will miss out on doing projects with your friends, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, something that everyone wanted was a job, a training, a placement, and an internship. That is something that is missing out. And why is it missing out? Because today, when you will see all of the brick and mortar institutes are catering to the same set of students. It's a mushrooming. You will see that, like, for example, there are clusters in a country like India. For example, in southern part of India, you will see a lot of MBBS and BDS colleges. In Delhi NCR, you will see like number of BTech colleges. In certain part of the country, you will see n number of B.Ed colleges. Why is that? That is the reason, because in last 10 years, in last 1 decade, there have been a good mushrooming of such traditional institutes that have come up. But even though the absolute number of students have increased, we will have to sit, reflect, and accept the fact that the relative number of students have not increased that much. And student today does not only reach out to or take or is willing to take an admission in one institute only because that institute is 25 years old. I have seen, and great you brought this question. Let me bring a good thing in your notice and the notice of all our panelists and audience. Yesterday, I was reading Times of India. Around 6 engineering colleges, that is 60 colleges, BTech colleges, are on the verge of closing. And this is just one news in just one part of the country. Imagine when you collate all such news and you collate the number of institutes which are on the verge of closing, you will find out two common things. One, all of them were traditional brick and mortar institutes, all of them. Second, all of them have failed to provide the basic value to the students they have enrolled in the past. So if some institute was say 30 years old, 40 years old, 20 years old, and they were able to provide placements to their students in year 2010, 2008, 2012, but now with the uncertainty in the global market, because today in last 10 years, you would have seen the jobs that are there in the market, they require a complete different skill set. The organizations, the biggest organizations that they are offering like very high paying jobs to students, or the sectors which have grown up in last 2-3 years, for example, healthcare, all of them require a very different, very hardcore skill set. A traditional education system completely failed to provide that. And that is one reason they fail to get a job. And that is one reason more students don't turn up for new admission. And in totality, these institutes are failing to get new admission, and hence they are getting closed. So I truly believe, I'll sum it up, I truly believe the main reason for growth for EdTech is the value they add and the ease of adding that value. And one of the biggest reason for failure of our traditional brick and mortar institutes is nothing but their entire the failure lies in not being able to provide the right skill set. And again, because the right skill set education is not there, so they are not able to provide the right internship or placement support.
No, I completely agree with you. In fact, just touching upon that point that you said before, it is so easy for anyone today to just log into one of these websites, these edtech websites, and start a course. My 3, 4-year-old cousins do it, right? So definitely, when you talk about ease and when you talk about how accessible it has become, I 100% agree with you there, right? And moving with that same train of thought, so you've mentioned multiple times that edtech has boomed a lot over the past few years, but education has not really. Why do you think that is?
I think you have touched a very important note, which is also a very important point of discussion, not only for this particular panel, but for everyone who is in the education sector. When see around us, we will see edtech is growing. But if edtech is growing, it's a subset of education sector. Then why the education sector is falling? I'll tell you the reason. I'll give you a small analogy first. See, for any building to become a high-rise building, the basement has to be firm, has to be strong. For any tall tree in a rainforest, the roots have to be deep rooted. What is this analogy? The analogy is that your foundation needs to be very, very strong. Something, your ideology, your belief system, your technology, whatever you are using to create that ecosystem has to be something that needs to be relevant today. So when I talk about edtech today, so let's assume that the 100% pie of a cake today is education sector. What percentage of that pie is edtech and what percentage of that pie is traditional institute? The amount of pie that is traditional institute is all falling apart. And that is one reason when you see in totality, you see that education is not growing. But if you go close, if you zoom it out, zoom it in, then you will figure out that one thing which is happening today, that in that pie that is not growing, you will see the edtech institutes are growing massively. And I am choosing my words very cautiously. I'm saying they're growing massively, multiple folds.
No, but they are.
Reason,
That's
yeah,
true.
what is the reason behind that? The reason behind that, that growth is an outcome. Growth is not an input. Growth is a complete output of what they are doing. The input is the technology they are following. It's so let's see what is a tech institute. What is an edtech institute? An edtech institute is not merely a brick and mortar institute with smart classrooms. Like for example, you were talking about your nephew and niece. You were talking about your like friends. Today, I see a lot of schools, lot of colleges saying that we have installed smart classrooms in our like colleges and universities. Does that make that institute a edtech institute? No, not at all. Believe me, not at all. It's just a smart classroom. Yesterday you were studying on a green or a blackboard with a chalk. Today your faculty is teaching you on a white smart board, which is a digital smart board. Nothing else. Nothing has changed for the students. There is no skill set, no value addition. Second, now take the second case. There is one institute where everything is manual, but their operations are now suddenly made digital. Does that make an institute an edtech institute? Answer is no. Let's take the third scenario where everything is traditional, your teaching, your training delivery, your teaching style, your operations, but your sales and mobilization suddenly become tech driven. Does that make your entire organization edtech? No, not at all. The final example I will like to put, everything is traditional, but your alumni connect is through app. Does that make you, or through website, does that make you a tech company or an tech organization? completely? The answer in caps and bold is no. Then the answer lies, where does, what makes you an edtech organization? I'll tell you what makes you an edtech organization. Right from A to Z, when you stitch all your processes, all your operations through technology, be it mobilization for generating leads, reaching out to your students, their parents, doing your sales lead management, then doing your operations, your training delivery, finally like giving that placement support, internship support to your students. And last but not the least is the alumni connect that you have, the connect that students have among themselves, or the connect that faculty has with students. That is there on some app or on a website. I think that entire ecosystem makes one EdTech institute. And that is where the key to success lies. And that is, and not, and if you like, you might feel that these are 5 6 points, but I'll be very firm, and I will put it in very clear words that if you fail to not adopt technology in any one of these things, in any one of these practices, you fail to adopt technology, you will not be an EdTech institute. You will be just a brick and mortar traditional institute who will then be playing with technology in some or the other part. So that I firmly believe what makes an EdTech institute grow vis-a-vis a traditional institute fail. And like I have to answer your first question also, that why do we see education failing or falling when we see EdTech growing? The reason is the number of institutes that have truly adopted this mechanism of being an EdTech is very, very small. And this is, Arjun, I will like to reiterate, this is where the opportunity lies. Today, if you will start a BPO, if you will start a KPO, you will not make that much amount of money. Had you started a BPO or KPO in 2002, 2003, when there was a BPO boom in India, or not only in India, but in Southeast Asia. Today, the world is looking forward to EdTech institutes. The sooner a traditional institute will convert themselves into an EdTech one, the sooner they will see them like their institutes growing. And the amount of time they won't do it, or the amount of time that they will like keep waiting and the time will lapse, I can guarantee that nothing can help these brick and mortar institutes to then revive, because the world is changing.
No, definitely some key takeaways from that, Raghav, that I can understand from you very clearly is you can't have part automation in order to become an EdTech company, right? It's not like you can do any one part of the process. The entire thing needs to be digital, everything needs to be uploaded and set up, and the technology has to integrate seamlessly from start to end. So, yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for those insights. Okay, so Anand, just shifting over to you for a second now. I just wanted to understand how do you believe that training and placements are playing a role in this, in the entire um, campus operations. Since you had your own campus and you take care of everything from start to end, I'd like to understand what you think about training and placements when it comes to the student journey.
Yeah, training and placement is really the major role in the success of the student, right? Instead of calling it a training, I will better to call the professional training. See, the training, how the students are being trained is very important. What kind of practical exposure they are getting during the training program. In today's scenario, we can see every industry look for the trained professional manpower. We notice continuous in switching the offline and online has tested a campus training process and quality of the teacher. See, all of suddenly during this pandemic situation, we can see used to call the student, then all of a sudden the guidelines come to by the ministry or the local administration. Please switch off all the institution for the physical classes, and we can provide them the online classes only. The switching training from the regular classroom as a physical classroom, and then all of a sudden to the online. But we can see the difference. Switching this kind of training, really demotivate the student if they are not getting that quality of the training through the online process. For the campuses who don't have technology in teaching are not able to engage, educate, and motivate the student, what happening? They aren't getting the positive word of mouth, and the we can say the image of the institute or the training center or the college will getting spoiled because students are the good marketing uh, for the us. If the student carry the positive feedback about the institute or the college or the any training center, that we can say it is a direct and indirect marketing for us. So switching of the training methodology is most important. Uh, but it is only happen if you could connect with the edutech company. We have the technology used for our day-to-day education. All of a sudden we can't change because we can see too many institutions started the classes online through the uh, Google Meet or say WhatsApp chat, etc., etc. But that is not a technology. That is, I can say it is for the say, matlab, timing technology they are using, but they are not using a technology to train their student, they teach their student. Now coming back to the placement. Placement is the most important role that student always looking for. Every student while taking the admission see the placement rate, job opportunities, career growth, market scenario of the job after program which campus are offering, job securities. If anybody can get a job, but what is the security of job? We can see so many jobs, so many employees has thrown out during this pandemic situation. But the job of opportunity wherein we can have the continuous flow of the openings like healthcare industry or any other industry, wherein we can secure our job because that is more in demand. Secondly, if the student have the confidence in placement and see the good career opportunities, then they take the decision of admission because they always try to get the information, collect the information as many as possible, wherein they are going to get admitted. Like I previously mentioned, every student while taking admission see the placement rate of the institution or the job opportunities or career opportunities or what are the training they are going to enroll and in market, what is the scenario for that particular job roles. Like for example, I would like to tell you, this pandemic has literally boosted the jobs in healthcare sectors, especially the allied healthcare trained staff, and it will stay for minimum 10 years. It has also helped in boosting the admission who are offering the allied healthcare. Because during this pandemic situation last year also and this year also, we can see too many changes in the market job profiles. The healthcare industry is totally, I can say, fall down because of the unavailability of the trained manpower. See, they wanted to appoint a professional, but they don't have the time to train them and start their work. But if, in a different way, I can say, if the trained manpower is available at that time, that they can easily survive the patient, they can easily survive the nation. So this is the opinion that I saw in the training and placement, and I learned too many things from the last year pandemic. During this pandemic situation, also we used to get the too many admissions through online portal without knowing the student also. Student, we don't know, only we know the name of the student. They don't see physically to us, but see, they believe because we have that kind of marketing through our word of mouth, the existing student. They really help me us to get the good business. And as we are, my center, I'm running associated with the Vidwan since past 3 years. So I can see the double, triple growth every year. During the pandemic situation also, I almost got the double vote as compared to the last year. So this is my personal perception and opinion for and it is only happen because I have connected with the Edtech company. Otherwise, I also totally fail in getting the admission and getting the training and also getting in a good opportunity for my student as a placement, result in placement. So this is my personal perception and opinion for this.
Right, Anand. Thank you so much for that. One thing that I definitely connect with there is the best word of mouth is the best type of marketing or the word of mouth is always going to be from your stakeholders at the end of the chain. And for us, that would definitely be the students. And the kind of experience that we give to our students is going to eventually help build and grow the organizations which exist without having to incur any of those costs that go with it. So I definitely understand. That's how the biggest of internet companies have grown today, and that's the ones that we shop and order from constantly. And that's what we'll continue to do going forward as well, because that experience has always been fantastic with us. So thank you so much for that. Right. So just moving more focus to the admissions part of it. Raghav, I just wanted to understand why do you believe that admissions are not scaling or growing in colleges as compared to, say, for example, how edtechs are scaling over time? What is it that you specifically believe can be improved, or the particular reason that you feel that admissions may not be particularly growing in brick and mortar type of colleges?
So, Arjun, to answer this question, I think I will have to see this question from two different lenses. One part of this question I have to see from the lens of a marketeer, and I will tell you why the admissions are not growing in colleges. But when I see it from the lens of somebody who's working in the education sector and somebody who comes from a family where a lot of people are like involved in the education sector, let me be very honest with you. Admissions are growing. They are growing for the brands, the organizations, the institutes which are edtech and which are relevant to like students today. Let me give you a very small example. All these engineering colleges that you are seeing today, which are getting closed, are not getting closed because the admissions just dropped this year. They're getting closed because admissions dropped in last 5 6 years. 5 years ago, there was a huge boom for when every 12th pass out student wanted to do digital marketing. What is actually digital marketing? Digital marketing is nothing else but a subset of somebody being an IT engineer. Like I am an engineer by myself, so I know a lot of things that were taught to me during engineering. And if I would have done like 3 4 more projects with organizations, I would have been a stalwart in digital marketing. Then why are people not taking admission in engineering colleges? The reason being the skill set that is provided in an engineering college will not suffice the need of a student who wants to work as a digital marketer. And that guy then went to an organization like Upgrad or maybe someone else, enrolled and became a digital marketer in no time and starting earning well. There were people who were like enrolling, there were like lines and lines of students after their schooling. And I am talking about like great students, brilliant students with 90 plus percentage, 95% plus percentage, and they wanted to like do BSc stats because they wanted to enter the field of data science. It's a very high paying job, but none of them enrolled for the 3 year degree program. They were okay enrolling for a 2 year diploma program because today we, somebody who is the custodian of providing the education, also need to understand that the scenarios are changing. Today, the student does not believe in a 3 year degree program or a 4 year degree program. They actually have the interest in getting the right education. Right education, if I have to define, is the right skill set, something what they will learn and they will practice in their work. For example, today, if you have to reflect back, imagine what you learned in your graduation and how much did you actually apply it in your daily life when it comes to professional career. Not even maybe 5%.
Not even
I today
1%
after
almost.
doing
Yeah.
Yeah, I today after doing engineering, today doing MBA, and I'm talking about the most premium institutes of India, like the most premium one. where not even 0.1% of the student go. Like less than 1%, exactly what you are saying, is the applied education that we have learned. But that is not the scenario with today's student. They are well informed. Thanks to the technology, thanks to the penetration of smartphones, thanks to the penetration of companies like Google, Bing, every information is available at your fingertips. These students, they have like access to all these information. They today know that going and enrolling for a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year degree program will not help them. What will help them is instead enrolling for a 1-year, 2-year diploma course. And God forbid, and whether even it is called a diploma or not, they are even not interested. They just want to get that skill set. Companies are open to give placements to these students who have the right skill set, rather than going to a campus, doing the placement, and then doing a management training program, and then finally getting the student into work after maybe 1 year down the line, even after the student is a postgraduate. So now coming back to your question, why the admissions are not growing in colleges? So this was the answer when I saw it from the lens of education, somebody who provides education to students. But when I see it from the lens of a marketeer, I see three different things. One is your target communication, your targeting. Second is your marketing, and third is your lead management. And in the same chronology, let me tell you how it happens. So what you have to do, you have to target the right customer. You have to target the right customer at the right time with the right communication. But you know what happens. Somebody who passes out of class 12 in that given 2 months, like today the CBSE results have come out. Now you will see right from today till next, like not even today, but say, for example, last 15 days, the ads for all the engineering colleges have started in Delhi NCR. So where is that differentiality? There will be 300, 400 engineering colleges, they will talk about the same thing, that we will give you a BTech degree, like BE degree. The fees is so much and so on. And we have the best placement when the student knows that there are no placements. It's all gimmick. It's all just a thing that they are trying to project. So everyone is fighting for the same group of people. When come to the second thing, same time, all these 200, 300 colleges are giving you the information at the same time. So how many institute as a student you can go for counseling? Maybe 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
5, but there will be a limit to that. Then comes the time of selecting the right audience. I and you both, being student of class 12, might both be interested in engineering, but then you might be interested in, say, sound engineering, whereas I am interested in computer science engineering. But the communication to both of us will be same. You might be interested in data sciences, but is there a dedicated communication to that? The answer is no. So everything, so in crux, if I have to tell you, all these colleges, institutes are fighting within a span of 2 months for the same set of students. So they're missing out. They're making the student more confused rather than making them or helping them out to get the right course in the right institute. Second is marketing. Marketing is what? Promoting yourself, promoting your institute, promoting your program. How you can do it? For a traditional institute, the ways are hoardings, the ways are newspaper ads, inserts, maybe radio jingles, at max. All of these ways have become very, very expensive, and there is a good, very high uncertainty of admission. So till the time you are not making money, to what extent a brick and mortar institute will put in money? To the extent it is possible, then they'll stop, and they'll miss out on admissions for this year. Third, which is the most important point that I will like to highlight, where all these institutes are failing, because of which there are no admission, is lead management. Let me give a very small example, and I'll close my answer with that. Let's take your example. If you are a student, imagine you are interested in data science, and I am one college that is running that course. Today you are very much interested in taking that course. I called you today, and you got very interested. You came to me. You came to our college and our institute. You and your parents, and we had a great counseling session. And imagine the only problem that you had was, say, that your fees is very high. You went back. you were trying to figure out what other course I can do, or your parents were trying to figure out what like how we can arrange the fees. But for me, I thought you are an interested student, and I failed to follow back on that particular lead. This is one case scenario. Second case scenario may be today you want to take an admission, and there are 5 institutes that provide you the course that you are interested in. I, being one of those 5, might be ending up calling you 2 months down the line. That time you have already taken the admission. So lead management is very, very important. Tracking of those leads, reaching out to those leads, doing the first call, following up with them, nurturing those calls, nurturing those leads till the time they either take the admission with your institute or they drop that entire idea of taking the admission. That is what the brick and mortar institutes are failing. So I think that is one reason because which the traditional education system is not able to do admissions today.
No, absolutely, Raghav. I completely understand where you're coming from. I remember when I had to apply to different colleges. Apart from the cream of the crop, you don't really, there's no real differentiating factor that much. It's really difficult to eventually figure out as a student where do you actually want to go and why do you want to go there. In fact, we didn't even have an understanding
Absolutely.
of what are the placement opportunities, what did the industry look like once you graduated. Nothing. We just knew about placements in the last year, and it was almost a mandate or mandatory for us to sit for that unless you're, taking higher education. So I think everything that you're saying makes a lot of sense. And now, if I think back, maybe I would have done things a little differently. But yeah, thank you so
True.
much for sharing those insights. So Anant, when we spoke here more about the marketing side of it, can you tell us more from the operational side of things? Where do you believe admissions are getting hampered because of operations or because of your college internal operational issues that you're facing, which are running back and affecting your admissions?
Yeah, absolutely. See, as mentioned by Raghav, key data management, right marketing, this is the most important tool to get the admissions. Data management, like Raghav has explained in detail, if you lose the lead, you will definitely lose the admission. Right marketing is another, as mentioned by Raghav, key approaching the right student for the right program and getting them admitted is a very important and big role of the marketing team. So I can say right marketing is the one of the big tool. Students are not satisfied with the existing online teaching. Secondly, key whatever teaching they are getting to traditional mode, just like I explained through the Google Meet or the like WhatsApp chat kind of thing, also WhatsApp video meeting kind of thing. So they are actually not satisfied with that kind of teaching through the online. It has a low student engagement because teacher is only going to talk, baki log, they are the listener only, but there is no certain kind of interaction that actually should happen as the physical classes happen. Student and teacher motivation is very less because teachers knows whatever I have to deliver for the today, I have to deliver within that half an hour of time or 45 minutes of time. Thirdly, I can say though placement issue, most colleges offering program that don't have the job in market. Right? So what exactly happened? Just now Raghav told about the traditional education in the engineering colleges or the universities. See, university, ideally, I can see, matlab, it is my personal perception, I can say, or it's my personal opinion. Every university will take minimum 10 to 15 years to change their curriculum. By the time the 15-year-old student learn the same technology, however, after 15 years, suppose I got admitted, I am going to learn the same technology. But see, within the span of 10 to 15 years, there are too many changes in technology, too many changes in job uh, opportunities, too many changes in the requirement of the industry. But still, the regular universities or regular colleges following the old pattern of teaching, that's why they are going to lose the part of the admissions and finally pay the student to get the proper placement. See, like most of the colleges offering the program that don't have the job in market. Students lose their interest this program and don't take the admissions because they know there is no job opportunity. As mentioned by Raghav, see, students are not worried today I have to go for the engineering or I have to go for the 4 year of BTech or 3 years of degree, regular degree. After that, the most important part of the student and the requirement of the student, how they get the job once they got the training. It may be either a diploma of 1 year, 2 year, or maybe of 3 years. But they always look for the job opportunity, job-oriented education, I can say. If everything is connected with the technology, then it can help the colleges. Like for the Viran, because everything is automated through the tech, so that last year only we got around 40% of the admission through the referrals, student referrals that I already mentioned. Why it is happening? Because we are using the technology and we are getting them the proper training, what they are looking for. They are getting engaged. They are happily survive the classes. They are looking after the quality of the training and the technology actually used. Right. So this small tool will play the important roles in getting the admissions. Operationally, see, I already told you, it is possible because I have the tech platform for each and everything, right from the mobilization team, taking a follow-up on the positive leads. Then I'm keeping a track, monitoring which follow-up has happened ideally in time or it is a miss out kind of thing. Then I can see on my mobile whatever admission is going to happen, what is registration happen, what are the walk-ins happen throughout the day. So this is only possible because of the use of technology. Even though suppose I am not in the office, not in the institute, but still I can keep the all track, I can monitor all the operation happening in center. And it is only possible because I am connected with the tech company, Edtech company. At the fingertip of my mobile, I can see what a business my marketing team have done, how many leads they have generated for today, how many walk-ins have happened, how many registration happens, how many classes as getting executed, what are syllabus they taught, either they are on a track or not. I can see the faculty are taking up proper classes or not. Why it is possible? I can say in a single word, it is because of the technology, use of the technology. Yes, I can say the technology is always playing a very important role to run our business successfully.
Thank you so much, Anand. I couldn't agree more with you on that particular point. So, of course, we have touched upon many problems here right now, right? We've spoken about how it's become difficult for traditional brick and mortar universities to adapt to this change. And it's not just them, of course, there are many companies in the industry which struggle to adapt. But what's the way forward now, gentlemen? What is it that we need to do now? Is it possible for these traditional companies to find a way to eventually aspire to become the next Byju's or the next Vedantu? For example, what is it that they need to do in order to be able to achieve that? And I think we are also running a little bit short on time. So I just request both of my wonderful panelists to maybe keep it a little bit short so that we can entertain some questions also at the end of the session. So just reiterating that question one more time. What is it that they can do in order to eventually become one of these giant edtechs? Raghav, over to you.
Okay. So Arjun, keeping the track of time, and thank you for letting us know that we are already running short of time. Very quickly, I'll answer this question in one line. If somebody has to grow, if somebody has to become a Byju's, a Vedantu, a Virohan, an academy, a upgrade of tomorrow, there's a one-line answer to it: become EdTech. nothing else. And what is EdTech? EdTech is adoption of technology in every single sphere of your operation, training delivery, lead management, mobilization, generating leads, sales workflow, everything. Just become tech friendly. There's a very quickly I'll tell you a brick and mortar institute is not able to manage not even 1,000 leads in one academic year. If you divide 1,000 leads in one academic year, it is less than 100 leads per month. They're not able to manage them. They miss out on admissions. That is the reason they are getting closed. That is the reason we are seeing it, and it is a truth in front of all of us. It's not something that I am bringing to the table. It's out there as an public information. Vis-a-vis, I'll tell you my personal experience, and now I, in my personal professional capacity of being associated with two big edtech players, like for example, Byju's and Virohan, they are actually targeting and reaching out to over 1 lakh students a month, 1 lakh leads. Imagine the amount of technology they have, like the effectiveness of tech support they have, that they can reach out to these leads, nurture them, and then they can figure out what is good and what is not. But one thing, to be very honest, don't miss out on any sphere. Don't just think that putting smart boards will make you a tech player. Don't think that doing digital marketing will make you an tech player. Don't just think that doing training on through technology will make you an tech player. EdTech is tech in every sphere of your education ecosystem. Very quickly, if I have to give you one example how it works, and now since I got this opportunity to work very closely as a consultant with Roman, I'll tell you how they do it. For example, what is the first part of doing admission? First part of doing admission is lead generation. How they generate lead. So they have these mobilizers, community influencers, whom they, if I'm not wrong, whom they call Shiksha Mitras. Now these Shiksha Mitras are there in every part of country. I can be a Shiksha Mitra, you can be a Shiksha Mitra. We know 5-6 students. I'm a tuition teacher. There is a group of 100 students whom I am teaching. Now I can tell 50 of them who come and ask me that what is good, what is growing as a career option. And if I refer to them, I just have to open my mobile app, have to put their details, and they become a lead for Virohan. So now this will never be missed. This can never be missed. Had I called them, if they would have noted down on some piece of paper, I don't know how they would have collated that entire data, because the data is coming from pan India level. Second part, once that lead is there in your system, now that lead gets transferred to the sales team. It's a completely automated sales workflow. The sales, there are sales team members. There are different centers in different part of the country, different cities. Now, also there are people working with those systems. Imagine they open their app, they see, okay, 10 leads have come from Arjun, or 20 leads have come from Raghav. These many leads have come from digital marketing. These many leads have come from website. They will start calling on all of them. For example, if they'll call on one lead, that guy will be saying, I'm interested. I'm coming to your campus or center for counseling. They'll just enter that thing. And that thing will be then followed by the counselor. If they say that, okay, I am currently busy, call me tomorrow, they'll put a reminder that I have to call this person ABC tomorrow. Now, tomorrow that thing won't be missed, because tomorrow the app will say that you have a reminder at 4 p.m. to call someone. This is how you manage a lead. Now, once this entire thing happens and once you enroll, and even in the state of pandemic, there's a full tech-driven system where you can do virtual counseling. The person is sitting in somewhere in, for example, in a city as small as say near Anand ji can share his experiences. For example, there are smaller towns near Nagpur, and they can do virtual counseling. There, and pandemic is not only the reason, monsoon is another reason. There are multiple reasons, but a student fails to come to the center. But if a tech-driven organization like Virohan doesn't miss out on doing those counseling, once that counseling happens, you enroll that student. For that also, that student does not need to come to your center. They will just download the app. They will enroll themselves and will do an online payment. Such an easy thing. They will get an online receipt. Nothing is hidden. Very clear, transparent communication. Then the classes starts. So classes are starting. There's a full like a tech-driven classroom, which will make you learn new concepts through videos, through like quizzes which are there on your mobile app. Imagine the amount of success it like like it boils down to when somebody reads. Because I, being a student of uh, technology, I can tell you, if somebody reads from video content, those will retain 90% of the knowledge even after 3-4 months. So your success rate will increase. Now these students are then get connected to placement partners. Again, the organization is able to figure out how many jobs are there by using web crawlers, by using data analytics. And finally, when the student passes out, even during the internship period, they are connected to their brand, they are connected to Virohan through the mobile app. They can clear their doubts. If they get a real-time doubts, they can ask those doubts on the mobile app to the faculty, and those will be resolved in the real-time period. Then comes the part when they pass out. What happens when somebody passes out? For us, for you and me, for all of us, imagine what happened 1 year down the line, 2 year down the line. We are going back again to our college and universities to getting our degree. Here, the certificate is available on your mobile app. It has a QR code. You can scan it. You can transfer it to somebody. You can share it with your employment partners. Even 30 years down the line, 20 years down the line, that QR code will be there. Then what happens? Once you pass out, you are there in the real world working. Tomorrow you want to refer someone. Just click on your mobile app and you can refer someone. You can get referral awards for that, which is great. If you want to connect with your alumni, you can connect through your mobile app, which is again great. So this is how the entire small spheres. Now you see how many spheres I've talked about, from lead generation to lead nurturing to doing counselings to admitting that student, then training delivery, then getting that student an internship, getting that student placed, then delivering the certificate, then alumni connect, then referrals, 10 things. And you have a tech support for all those things. And all of them are so connected with each other. It becomes a seamless one ecosystem. It becomes really seamless one ecosystem. And that makes your entire institute an Edtech institute. And that gives you the right success in the shortest period of time. Because you then don't fail, even if there is a pandemic. You can teach your students through mobile app. Even if it is raining, you will not miss out on your sales team not coming to your center or to your institution. If there is some sort of problem in your city, but your students are well connected with your faculty members. If today a student of mine who's studying in Delhi gets a job in Bangalore, an internship in Bangalore, the problem will not be there. They can get their doubts resolved on the mobile app. So I think it's great. So that is how I will like to sum up my answer, that for any organization, for any institute to become a edtech giant in tomorrow's world, they definitely need to convert their brick and mortar institute and completely edtech institute today.
I can absolutely see a lot of potential avenues for things that we couldn't imagine possibly doing manually in brick and mortar style traditional colleges. Just that certificate example by itself is one of the most painful tasks in any university, where we need to apply and get our certificates and then have to resubmit it multiple times. I wish I had an application that could just share it.
And if I can just take half a minute of yours and can just put one more point.
Sure.
See, edtech, to start a brick and mortar, you need a heavy investment. It's not like today you buy a small piece of land and then you will think that I can increase the size of my institute. With edtech, it is possible. To start a brick and mortar institute, it's very cost heavy thing. You can ask Mr. Anand, who's sitting in Nagpur, how much money he's invested in his business when it was a brick and mortar, and vis-a-vis the amount of money he's putting today. When with an edtech, you can start it today. Like I can register with an edtech organization and I can start my business in like next 10 days. It will be ready. I can start it because everything is standardized. And because everything is standardized, thus it's very easy to scale anything. It's very scalable. Today I'm present in Delhi NCR, tomorrow I'll be present in Gujarat, day before tomorrow I'll be present in southern part of India, then eastern part. It's very scalable. And I can start small and can become big. That is the main, I think that is the most beautiful thing of an edtech. Not only in institute, but edtech as a concept, it's very beautiful in that way. You can start small and you can become big in like no time. But to start a brick and mortar institute, to revamp a brick and mortar institute, the amount of loan you will take or the amount of money that you will put in from your pocket, it's huge. And with the uncertainty of returns, I think no way today in these times of pandemic, anybody will be willing to go ahead with a brick and mortar. But everybody today will be willing to be a part of an edtech organization.
Thank you, Raghav. So I do see that we have a question in the chat. We'll be wrapping up the session in just 2 to 3 minutes and then coming to the Q&A session. So Deepak, we'll get back to you very shortly. Right. So, Anand, what is it that through your experience you have seen Virohan do in order to enable these traditional brick and mortar style universities to move more towards EdTech or to become EdTech organizations over time? Please share your experiences with us.
Yeah, sure. See, first of all, just like the Raghav has shared, certification is the big challenge to get from the university or the other things. So first of all, I would like to tell you, the audience, provide the instant NADC approval to the center. This is the certification part, NADC kind of thing, wherein it is having a pan-India recognition. Collaborate with the Shiksha Mitra and provide the automated sales solution. I think Raghav has already explained this in very much details. Shiksha Mitra is nothing but one kind of the local employer or you can say one of the society member or one of the tuition classes teacher or school teacher, wherein students are directly connect with them and they can always try to get some motivation kind of thing or guidance kind of thing from the teacher, and they always try to follow that. So we can make them the Shiksha Mitra, just like one app can provide us the leads, and then that leads come to the sales, and sales can be salesperson, and that can be converted into the admission, finally the revenue generation kind of thing. Viron is also guiding us how to reach the target audience and convert them into the admissions.
Right.
So the national level types, through national level types and other things also, I can say. Viron is, we are discussing continuously on the automated trading kind of thing. The Viron is having a very good exposure, very good quality automated training kind of thing, like blended learning is one of the best example for that, wherein we can see we don't have to have the subject matter trainers. We can use them as the facilitators and they can facilitate class because it has happened because of the technology, I can say. High job identification through the practical learning. Just I told you we are using the blended learning mode to train our student. That will give the student a real practical scenario kind of thing. And also, Viron is providing the 100% guaranteed internship, and it is a part of training. So student also gets the real practical exposure in the particular job role. Like we are running program like radiology technician, OT technician, lab technician, hospital administration. After the training, completion of the theory training in the classroom, they are getting a real practical exposure. And that is the most important thing to train the student and to get the job opportunity immediately after completion of the training. Provide the complete automated platform. Just explain each and everything by the Raghav. And this is the same experience that I am experiencing at the center. And healthcare industry, as we are running we are at Nagpur running the program for the healthcare industry professionals. So I can say the healthcare industry can definitely see the difference and experience the quality of the student trained by a student trained by the Virohan. Because I am getting so many feedback from the industry professional like doctors, like admin manager, HR manager. They really appreciate me that I can see the difference, the quality of your student behavior, like attitude and the soft skill, communication skill. Because along with the training, technical training, whatever they are chosen for, we are also training them for the soft skill, communication skill, and the behavior skill, basic English also. And this chota training can play the very important role in getting them the job at the right time and good job opportunities. So this is the support I always getting from the team visual. Either it may be technical, either it may be training, or it may be sales oriented or marketing oriented. Everything has been controlled by the visual, and we just have to associate and take the instruction or take the guidelines given by them so that I can successfully run my business at Nagpur.
Wonderfully put, Anand. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. So with that, we come to the end of the webinar, right? I'd like to thank my panelists. But before we go, I think there are a few questions that people are eagerly waiting to ask you. So I'd just like to move right to that. Yep. So give me 1 second. Right. So Deepak asks, is getting onto the Edtech platform one of the possible solutions for getting more admissions? So he has multiple questions. His questions are threefold, right? I'll just read each one of them out. The second part being, how do you tackle the questions of fee commission? And the last one being, what can be done with regard to delivering a course in performing arts like theater and acting online? So, Raghav or Anand, if either of you would like to, maybe Raghav, if you'd like to tackle this question first. What can we do
Okay.
with respect to getting more admissions through EdTech platforms?
Okay. So to answer that question for Deepak, I think I will reiterate the fact that more admissions will only come to an EdTech platform. So the answer lies within the question. The answer is you have to make your brick and mortar institute an EdTech institute. Now, whether you are delivering training for a data science program, or it is for healthcare, or it is for theater, I think the most important thing today is to first understand that EdTech is the source of reaching out to students. EdTech is not a solution to education only. EdTech is bigger than that. EdTech will help you reach out to right set of students in the right time. And EdTech is something that helps you to get round the year admission. For example, a brick and mortar institute will be like restricted to have admissions in only one particular season. As you also see that for example, for engineering courses or for some other courses, the admissions will only happen in the month of July, August, September, depending on whether it's the year of pandemic or not. EdTech, it is round the year admission, one. B, I will also like to add what needs to be done to make your institute an EdTech institute. Again, what I have repeated first, make every single sphere of your institute completely automated. And that can only be done with the help of an EdTech player. Like it's very difficult. It's very difficult for a standalone player to tomorrow go and automate everything. It is just not possible. You will need technology, you will need platforms, you will need other things. One thing I will also like to add, since Deepak has asked it, what needs to be done for like if they need to deliver curriculum for theater students, I think we should also sit and see that what are we delivering, what is the market there out there, and if you are actually in the education business, and I am like using both the words, it is education delivery and it's a business. So you need to see what sort of business opportunity is out there. 20 years ago, engineering was a big business. 20 years ago, if I was an EdTech player, I would have been delivering education to all my engineering students. 10 years ago, if I have to do it, I would have been doing it for BPO players. 5 years ago, if I have to do it, I would have been doing it for the digital marketing and data science people. Today, when we see healthcare has erupted, it has erupted. It's like a volcano, and there is demand, demand and demand and demand. That is the only thing that I see. Then, if you are actually in the business of delivering education, I think it's a great opportunity for you. Figure out how you can deliver education to students who want to become healthcare professionals, who want to enter the healthcare industry in the coming years, 1 year down the line, 2 year down the line, and there is no dearth. And we have already discussed, Arjun has raised that point, Anandji has raised that point, that how like people like Mr. Anand, their life has become so easy because the only hook to get people in your institute is internship and placements. And there is rise of that. For one student, there are 10 options available outside today, but only in healthcare. It's not like that data science has also erupted or like something else has, or banking has also erupted. But I think if you truly want to look out for for an association in EdTech, my personal suggestion to you will be, Deepak, that kindly see what opportunities are there in the market today. How many people are there in the market who want to become that is one market that is growing. And for anything else also, to increase the number of students, I think the only answer to that is to make your brick and mortar institute an EdTech institute.
Thank you so much, Raghav, for that. Anand, is there something that you'd like to add on to that?
Yeah, matlab looking at the job opportunities, the student is always looking after the market, what kind of job opportunities available in market, and they wanted to go for that only. Like Raghav has explained in very well. See, go back to 10 to 15 years back, there is a boom of engineering, IT engineering, but today the student, 12 pass student, wherein earlier used to get the admission through JEE, or some time ago, it is on the merit list of the PCM group marks and aggregate marks that time. Now the student, even though who failed 3 times in a 12, will get the admission in engineering, one of the engineering, because there are too many colleges open looking at this opportunity. But I can say now at national level, we don't find any kind of competitor for the Visa one. This is my personal opinion, because I can see there are too many institutes like XYZ Institute in beside me also, but we don't find any student because the quality of the Visa one, the technology they are using to train the student, the services they are providing to the student, they are very much happy. And I already told you, 40% of my admission is happen through only word of mouth, student word of mouth. So anybody wants to start their business, they have to find out what are the opportunities at least for next 10 to 15 years. And healthcare is the only industry. It is going on, and never getting shut down and never getting saturated also.
Right. Very
And
much.
one point, Arjun, I missed was the fee commission point. If I'm not wrong, that was the part of the question.
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Raghav.
Okay, so let me give you one small mathematical example for that. Now, if I'm a brick and mortar institute and I am only able to do say 100 admissions and the fees is 100 rupees, at the end of the year I will earn 10,000 rupees. That is what I will make. Because we are talking about EdTech, and as we have already discussed, that the number of admissions will grow multiple folds, and this multiple fold is at least 4x, 5x, 10x, 20x, depending on how like what scale you want to grow. But even let's take the example of 4x. Now with 4x, I will have 400 students I will be teaching to, because I don't actually need that much amount. I can use like the capacity utilization will be more, and training delivery will be quicker. So if I'm teaching say 400 students in that particular year, even with 60%, and if then 40,000 is what I am making for the entire year. Even if I keep 60%, 65%, 70%, I'm saying least with 60%, I'll be making absolutely 24,000 rupees. That will be 2.5 times more than what I would have been making. And we are also missing on one thing: the operational charges are way less, because the operation charges are not only the salaries that I am paying, but it is also the like on a daily basis the amount of money I'm just spending to keep my entire infrastructure healthy. So that is also something we have to see. It's also when I'm missing out on a lot of leads. So in totality, in crux, if I have to sum it up, the absolute money that somebody will make with an EdTech institute, even after giving the fee commission, to the partner with which you are like entering into that business will be way higher, can be 4x 5x. Believe me, I have seen people making up to 10 like 10x of what they were making earlier. Because what we are missing here is the number of people you will be catering to. Today you can only cater to n. Tomorrow you will be catering to maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 times that n number. So that is also one very important thing we should like always keep in mind. You will not only cater to, for example, if I am today making 100 people study in my institute, tomorrow after becoming an edtech, if I'm making only 100 people study in my institute, that is not the scenario. After becoming an edtech, and Anandji can put more light on this, there will be multiple folds of students that you will be teaching.
Thanks, Raghav. Anand, would you like to touch upon that?
Yes, absolutely, Raghav. You are on the right way. See, when we started the Vidwan Center at Nagpur, first year we almost got around 172 students only. But I can see the difference, year after year, the numbers are going double. Even though the last entire year we lost in the pandemic scenario, but still I got about, I can say whatever I expected, I got 20 to 30% more of that. About 4 crore of business I got last year also. This is the happen because as we're talking about the technology. Otherwise, it won't be possible to reach the student, call them to the center for the counseling. It won't be possible at all. Because we also know, we all are aware for the entire 3 to 4 months initially when the pandemic has started, there is a shutdown, complete lockdown, like a curfew kind of thing in the market. No one is, we can see on the road. But still that time also we are getting good response, good admission numbers, and numbers are getting increase day by day. And see, it is a very small investment kind of thing, like a college. If you want to open a college, first of all, you have to have at least 7 to 8 acres of land. And it won't be possible to get that land in a core part of the city. Then we always have to go outside the city, like 15 kilometer, 20 kilometer far from the city. But for the tech-based education, we can run this tech-based education in a, say, around 3,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet of area, and it is easily affordable, available within the city part. And it is available in the city part, then it is very easy to do the day-to-day operations also. And the cost of the infrastructure is very less as compared to the investment we are going to get involved to open the college or any other big institution kind of thing. Here, it's a very small investment. If we do have the college premises, we can use that classroom, we can use that infrastructure to run the edtech company. Means I can say it's as good as zero investment or kind of thing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anand, for that. I believe Mr. Deepak has just dropped off the call, but he did have a follow-up to that, and I think he wanted to provide some clarity on the question that he had asked. But I'm not able to see him here in the attendees list. Is there any other question from any of the attendees here? So I'll just give 1 minute, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll wrap up the session. Okay, I think we have answered all the questions. So again, hearty thank you to Raghav and Anand. Thank you so much for enlightening us about the difference between traditional and edtech companies. Thank you for touching upon the topics about pre-pandemic and during the pandemic and hopefully soon post-pandemic situations. And we look forward to having you again on the panel and discussing more along these lines in a follow-up webinar session with you later on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.